Well, welcome to another session of Chic Chat. It's a place where we celebrate the perfect fusion of style and adventure. Jeeps have long been synonymous with ruggedness, freedom, and the spirit of adventure. And who says women can't embrace all of that and more? Well, guess what? We've got a very special guest again tonight. I love this. Larry is one of the co-hosts on the Jeep Talk Show flagship episodes on Tuesday with me. So you guys have been hearing from Larry, but now we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. So welcome, Larry. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing? Sorry, I met a chick for Chic Chat.
And listen, by the way, just because it says Chic Chat and we're women interviewers, it doesn't have to be women that we interview. So I'm pretty excited about this to get to do a little more deep dive with Larry, because you know what? We're on the show. We just kind of get into what we're doing and we roll. And the three of us with Tony, we just start laughing and having a good time. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out that flagship episode on Tuesdays, JeepTalkShow.com. But right now, we're going to learn a little bit more about Larry. So Larry, I've got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So first off, I kind of want to know, I think the listeners too, is how did you get into Jeeping or your first Jeep? So give us a little bit of a history of how you kind of came to be in this lovelies industry.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've got the four-wheel bug or the gas bug or whatever you want to call it. I've been in some form of auto something my whole life.
Okay.
And I've owned a little bit of everything. Always wanted to get out in the middle of nowhere, if you will. So I knew that, the normal cars or normal anything wasn't going to work. I kept seeing all the stuff on YouTube about, the Jeeps going out in the middle of like Utah or California or somewhere. So I decided that, well, you know what? I think we're gonna dip our toe into that little bit. And we went out in 2018 and bought a Wrangler. And it's been pretty much downhill ever since.
So 2018 was the first time you've really done some off-roading?
In a Jeep, yes.
In a Jeep, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Had you done any other types of off-roading prior to that?
Yes. So my very first vehicle was a rail buggy.
Oh,
So
okay.
I had started building that when I was 14. Built it through 14, built it into 15. And when I turned 16, the first thing I ever drove on a road was that buggy to get it licensed.
Love
So
it.
we drove in a license and then we took it off-roading. Now, obviously, a rail buggy is not the same off-roading that you do in a Jeep, right? Because it's only
Sure.
rear wheel, Volkswagen type thing. So, yeah, that was kind of my first experience at it. And once again, totally different, obviously. But, I'll just say I've always had some kind of desire to be out where people aren't. And, the Jeep was fast forward almost 40, 50 years. The Jeep was the next evolution of that.
I love it because that's, I think you hit the key of getting out in that open. We talk about that too on the different segments of our shows. All of us do. We'd love to be able to go someplace that the Jeep takes us where we can't get there by a regular vehicle. So I think that's a really good key on that. So now you have a YouTube channel called JeepingMo, correct? And you talk about welding and different things. When did you start welding as far as getting into fabricating? Was that back when you were in your teens when you were building that buggy, or was it?
Yeah. So, basically back then. So my father was a machinist and also had a body shop. So, I kind of, that's how I grew up. I went to school to be a machinist. So I've been in the metal trades as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And the welding and the fabrication, there's nothing better for that than a Jeep, because, I kind of say that a Jeep is nothing more than an adult erector set. And if you don't know what an erector set is, go back and look that up.
Look it up.
Because it's, a Jeep is so versatile and there's so many things you can do to it. And there's so many ways to tailor a Jeep to you.
Yeah.
And,
this is true.
We all may not agree with each other's builds, but one thing about it, it's you. Well, if you want to see an expression of how a person is, if you look at their Jeep, it'll tell you a lot. Not that it's bad.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's true because we've been on runs and there's always that sort of envy, if you will, looking at someone else's bigger build or better build. And we always talk about that even in newbie nuggets. Start off with the stock Jeep. It's very capable, and then slowly start to add and do things depending on what you want to do. So now, as far as the welding, what would you say is one of the most fun or memorable things that you actually either fabricated or welded that you look back and think, wow, I actually did that? Do you have something in mind?
Yeah, so we all the fabrication in our Jeep I've done, whether it be putting all the trusses on, s- modifying those axles or the drawer system, we aluminum welded in the back. I don't know if I could point to no one thing because it's just a culmination of a little of this and a little of that. So, and most of that stuff, not to pimp our channel, but all this stuff that we've done to the Jeep and all the welding I do, we do it and we put it out there for content as well.
Sure.
And for more than anything, other than something I've done that stood out more than another, it really is to me more about the feedback that I get off of what I build,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because some of the things that I've welded, I don't think much of it, but the feedback that I get from the people watching our videos is rather nice. And to me, that's the most gratifying part of the whole thing.
Well, your channel allows people to learn. Like, last year I participated in the Ladies Off-Road Network, and one section was about welding. And I remember you giving me some tips and me looking at some of those videos about trying to weld. I'd never welded before.
Hmm.
And, yes, Bill had done some welding and he was kind of guiding me a little bit. But I just think it was nice that you had that information and you were so willing to help me out. And I'll just say for the record, it looked like it was going to be fairly easy. I mean, honestly, you get the torch, you put the metal together, you just, hit it, it's supposed to melt. That's not
Well,
what happens, by the way.
it will do that. It will
It
melt.
will. It will melt. But I think what was interesting for me was that it was way harder than I thought.
Sure.
But I could see where experience and just keeping at it, I think I could get pretty dang good at it. And I think it's learning what a good weld is and stuff. So
Right.
now you went to school for this, correct? For
Yeah, I
welding,
went
or
to
did you learn on your
so
own?
yeah, a little of both. So I went to school to be a machinist. I took some welding classes early on in my career,
Hmm.
and a lot of it is just over the there. I hate to say this, over the 40 plus years of
That's
learn
okay. You can say it.
learning what's good and what's bad. You
Yeah.
know, and the other part of that is, and Instagram is a good one for showing everybody what a good weld is.
Okay.
But I'm here to tell you, not all good looking welds are good welds,
Yes, I remember you saying that. It's
right?
about the actual contact and does it stick together and that.
Correct.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, we can make pretty welds, but we can also make them not stick together. But man, do they look nice.
Yeah, they do look nice. It's interesting too because if you follow anybody on Instagram and you see people that are fabricating, it's a super appreciation for people who can make it look pretty and also make it
Sure.
stick. And there are people in the industry, in the jeeping and the off-roading industry, that's all they do is build and fabricate for people to make sure that they can have a piece that works. So
Right.
if I take my Jeep in and say, okay, sir, I need you to weld this for me, I'm expecting them to do the correct thing and that
Oh,
it is going to
absolutely.
last. So I think there's a skill set to it for sure. I would not claim myself as a welder. I at least understand some basic fundamentals, but I would need a lot more time behind that torch and sort of understand and learn to perfect it. So
Right. And that's kind of what we try to do on a channel, that no one's gonna learn how to weld or wheel or anything off of one video.
well, they shouldn't.
So they shouldn't, right? It's more about just starting to build that foundation,
Yeah,
right? It's the old adage of, a house works better if it's built on a good foundation. You can't build a good
correct.
house on sand.
Yeah.
So it's just getting started. Even when you're wheeling, right? You don't dare just jump out there and all of a sudden you're an expert rock crawler and you just hit the start button yesterday.
Yeah.
So you
Takes
gotta you
time.
gotta you gotta take those baby steps.
Yeah. Now, speaking of wheeling, you do wheel. You have a second Jeep now.
Mhm.
What's on your bucket list of a place to go?
So I still want to one of these days get out to the Rubicon.
Yeah.
I know there's a big crew in the Jeep Talk Show Discord rooms that are going to go out next year.
Jerry's Pirates, right? The pirate group.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they named themselves, but I know a big crew's going out there next year. I'm not going to be able to make that. I love to get out there, but for me, I would always rather be in my Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
But even like when I came out and wheeled with you and Bill out in California, yes, I want to be in my Jeep, but more importantly, I want to be there.
Right.
So if I can't be in my Jeep there, I'd rather be, boots on the ground. And like when you guys took me through John Bull and out there,
Gold Mountain,
Gold Mountain's beautiful area,
and two Black Diamond trails.
Yeah, and I always forget the King of the Hammers area. What is that again?
That's in Johnson Valley,
right?
Yeah.
We went out there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just about getting out more than anything.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun because we did some pretty awesome trails in those 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see not only the mountains and the view from the mountaintops, and then we went down to the desert. And of course, as I've mentioned before, those rocks don't really move. So it's kind of fun to do wheeling on rocks that are pretty sturdy, and you just have to figure out how to climb up and through them. But we had a lot of fun.
Smell like Coca-Cola.
Yes. and then we have the pine tree that if you actually put your nose in between the little what do you call those? Let's see where the bark is. Mm-hmm. It actually smells like cherry Coke.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that why I love my Jeep and wheeling. It's more about the experiences,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's people that you meet. I mean, there's friends that I've made on this, trek of learning to Jeep myself that I don't think I would have met, like you. I mean, I don't know if you and I if our paths would have crossed. It might have. We don't know. But the fact that, we did that, you came out, we did a Jeep mm-hmm. Talk Show event here. And then you came out to wheel with us, and it was really cool. And you got to stay here. We put you up in our place, fed you, did all kinds of fun stuff, right?
Absolutely.
We had a good time.
It was a good time.
But that's what you do when you get to meet somebody and you become friends with them. So, but
Absolutely.
So you have the Rubicon on your list. Is there any other place in the country that you definitely want to take your Jeep to and wheel?
Yeah, I'd like to get out east. I keep hearing, about the trails out, out east, and I'd like to get out there because so far we have not been very much farther than was it the Smoky Mountains?
I was going to say you've been to the Smoky Mountains, right?
We've been to the Smoky Mountains. Yeah. So we've been to Texas, for the Texas events. We've been all the way to the UP in Michigan. Mm-hmm. In the Jeep. We've been as far as EJS in the Jeep.
For Moab,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would like to. I think that the stuff out east is well within reach because it's only half a day drive.
Well, and you also have trails in Oregon and Washington that would be stunning to do as well.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of Colorado, too. Even though you were in Moab, you kind of passed through Colorado, but there's a lot to do in Colorado as well.
Yeah, we've been in Colorado 2 or 3 times. And, the thing I like the most about Colorado is, now there are some hard trails there when I say this, but for me, it's more about the scenery.
Yeah.
I love getting out there like Imogene Pass, Ouray, Colorado for me. If I could retire or just move anywhere in this world, right now it would be Ouray, Colorado.
That is such a beautiful area. Oh my gosh, Absolutely. It's gorgeous. Yeah. No, it's amazing what you can see and do. And you've actually traveled quite a bit with your Jeep. You actually drive your Jeep. You don't flat tow it, right? Or put it on a trailer.
We don't flat tow it. I've got a 2018 it's got almost 140,000 miles on it.
Love it.
So it gets around.
Yeah. But that's kind of cool. Now, you have a buddy that goes with you almost all the time on these Jeep trips.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Duke. We got to talk about Duke.
I have a 120-pound black lab that he occupies the whole back seat. So, wherever I go, he's there with me. Obviously, if I'm flying somewhere, he doesn't get to go to those trips.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet him when he came to California, darn it.
Yeah, but if I'm driving, he's right there with me the whole way. I'll just say he kind of took the place of my kids when the girls grew up and moved out. He moved in and he took over.
So was that something you had to coerce him to get in the first time, or was he ready to go the minute you said get in?
Once we figure out how to get him into it every time easily, our Jeep has the rock slide steps on it.
Okay.
And I found a ramp that he could walk up.
Nice.
And he walks up, gets in the back seat. I clip him in because he wears a vest.
Okay.
So he isn't flopping around any inside of the Jeep.
Well, 120 pounds, you don't want that flopping around. That could seriously hurt him and yourself, too.
Oh, yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah, there's been a few times and a few obstacles where you nosedive off of an obstacle.
Yeah.
And I can tell he's hanging off of that tether.
That tether.
So, yeah.
He's like, wait, Dad, hold on a minute.
Yeah, he ain't liking that.
Now, when you take him out, I know that he just draws a crowd and people love him. Do you let people give him treats? And if you do, what's his favorite treat?
Yes and yes.
Any treat? Doesn't matter what it is?
Pretty much. He won't eat lettuce, but he'll eat about anything. He'll eat about anything else.
Well, he's a smart dog. Dogs don't eat lettuce.
Yeah, so Duke, we rescued him in 2020.
Okay.
So we rescued him. He was about 5 years old.
Wow.
And, we got him just pretty much as the world shut down for COVID. And, he's been pretty much by my side ever since.
I love it. So, yeah, I hear stories when you guys were at EJS that people just gravitated to Duke. Like they had to go meet Duke. He's like your other mascot.
Yeah, and he's got to be more people friendly, right? It took some work because, me and my wife, we like to rescue dogs because that's just what we do. Mm-hmm. And his previous owners wasn't very kind to him. Oh. So it took a little bit of socializing to get him so that he would behave around people.
Got it.
Now people just come up and pet him, and I always kind of keep him on a little bit of short leash at first.
Well, you have to.
Right. But for the most part anymore, he's used to it. So it's all good.
I love it. So now you have another channel on YouTube, not just the JeepingMo channel, correct?
Correct.
And so what is that channel about and what are you working on?
Yeah. So actually, I've recently started another one. So technically I have 3.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, let's start with this. I don't have enough free time, right?
Oh my gosh. I love it.
So there's a fabrication only channel, and truthfully, I haven't put a lot of content on that. It's the 4x4 fab shop, and I was trying to keep that strictly fab work because the one thing YouTube always tells you is to try not to do too many things on a channel.
Got it.
So, and you can see it in the channel when I start doing all kinds of different things in the Jeeping channel. If I put it on its own platform, it works a lot better.
Okay.
Right. So that channel is just full of fabrication. Like
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Custom exhaust work, more in-depth welding videos, welding cast iron, all that kind of stuff. So most of that stuff's out there. And I recently peeled off all the old car content.
Okay.
Because I found that the old car content that I put out, it isn't very well received on the Jeeping channel, which I get
it. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that channel, we primarily do, old cars. I've got a couple of Mercurys. I got an old truck, and it's about rebuilding those. We're getting ready to do, I'm going to call it a fly and drive from Denver back to St. Louis in an old Mercury Comet, that's 64.
Oh my gosh. How many days do you think that'll take you? Because you're not going to do freeway with that. So you're going to have to go side roads.
Yeah. So me and my daughter, she's going with me.
Nice.
And we're going to go to Denver. We're going to back road it to the Royal Gorge. So that's about 2 hours to figure out, is this car going to make it? And what else do I got to do to it? Because that's the nice thing about the old cars. Spark fuel air, as long as the wheels stay on and the engine still turns, you can pretty much make it work.
Now, how about the tires? Are they good? You think they'll make the trip?
Don't know yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I seen the car when I bought it.
A picture?
No, I bought the cars back in, just before I went out for my knee surgery. So I bought it just before May.
Okay.
So I bought 2 cars. I brought one of them back here because it wasn't capable of driving, and one I parked at one friend's house in Denver.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it since.
Oh gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun. I mean, first off, how cool that you're able to take your daughter on this adventure. Mm-hmm. I mean, that for me, when I do things with my dad, there's just this connection with the daughter dad kind of deal. So I
Absolutely.
think that's going to be really special memories for both of you. So I applaud you for doing that, because I think we need to do more things, one-on-one with our kids and our parents. But how cool. And Royal Gorge, my gosh, I love that area. That is just the most amazing bridge. I think it's the tallest in the US, by the way. And they don't let you drive across anymore. It used
No.
to be, that's how they actually, you could actually cross over. But there's so much activity you can do there too. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun. You're going to take some pictures, try to get the car in the pictures. Is that the idea?
That's the idea, because that's going to be YouTube video. So
Yeah.
we have been to the Royal Gorge in the past. So right after I bought my Jeep, and it was in early 2019,
Okay.
me and my daughters, we went to Pikes Peak and Royal Gorge. And my youngest, when she was with us on that trip, she always wanted to zip line. And she picked her first zip line, was going across the Royal Gorge. I told her, you set the bar kind of high, but
Yeah, I know exactly, because you're above it all at that point. I've
oh
seen
yeah,
that zip line. Yeah, it's
yeah,
funny when we were doing a motorcycle trip and we stopped through there, and Bill is not he doesn't do heights. So my dad and I walked out to the center. That bridge is pretty wide, right? It's not
oh
just a
yeah,
narrow little bridge. So we're out there. And next thing I know, Bill's actually walking out to the center. We were shocked because he's so afraid of heights.
yeah,
And of course, I'm looking over because I love heights, and my dad's looking over, and finally Bill just kind of got comfortable with it. So I love that. But it's definitely worth a stop if you're going to be in the area. That's in
yeah,
Colorado. It's really good.
yeah. So the whole premise of
Canyon City is where it's at. So
yep, yeah. So the whole premise of the video is from there, we're going to head east to go through Dodge City,
mhm.
going to go through a bunch of small little towns, just kind of embrace the small town life, and
You
then
should.
eventually it'll be on a highway, but it might not be till almost Missouri. Most
Yeah.
of Kansas is going to be back road.
Yeah. There's a lot to see, though. I mean, I know Kansas is flat, but there's a lot of beauty in Kansas. We've been through it
Absolutely.
a couple of times on the back of the motorcycle. It is beautiful. So there's a lot of different things to do and see. So, well, that'll be cool. So that's coming up. And then what is your plans with this car, or these cars that you are collecting? Are you trying to sort of restore them and then sell them? Is it just going to become a collection for you? What's the ultimate plan for that?
Well, I've been told this is not going to be a collection.
Oh, let me guess who did that.
Yeah,
The chief operating officer, right?
could be,
The
could be.
missus.
So we'll end up selling one of them. I don't know which one yet.
Okay.
So one of them, just because there's only so much room. I don't live in a piece of property with a lot of acreage, so I'm in a subdivision. So one of them will have to go until we pick up our next whatever that's going to be for a fly and drive, because
Okay.
hopefully this ain't the last one.
Right.
And who knows what that one will be.
But now you're talking about sort of a restoration. So are you taking it down to bare metal and to
Oh no,
frame?
no, no.
No, so you're just restoring whatever needs to be, like wiring and maybe upholstery and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we'll get it comfortable, if I can say that. We keep the buzzword today is patina. We keep the patina on it. We get it functioning with all the mechanicals and the wiring
Okay.
and all that. All that is, we bring that up to working order. It'll never be 100% on the outside with rust or any of that. The interior will be a little bit rough, but it'll be roadworthy at any time.
That's amazing. And I know there's a market out there because people love the nostalgia.
Oh yeah,
They love old cars. I mean, I'm fascinated when I see one. I just have to stop and look. It's like, wow. And then when you see it brought back to life, I love when they're using all original parts and all original pieces. If you can, I think that's really amazing to do that. But it's kind of fun. So
absolutely.
is that from your young age of building buggies that you sort of have an allure to restore these cars, or did this sort of happen later in life and you thought, I want to do this?
Well, I think, or I blame one of the two. I think it was from my father,
Okay.
because my father, he grew up in California, started in Fort Wayne, pretty much grew up in California back in the 50s, all the car culture,
Okay.
and then broke down in Missouri. And I've been around him, all growing up, all the cars and all that culture, so it just kind of you know came to me naturally.
Well, I think it's exciting that you can have that love and now be able to do something with it. I think a lot of people look at things like I do, an old car, but I wouldn't even, it's not my passion.
Right.
But at the same time, it would be a fun project. I think it would be really cool for Bill and I to do something like that and rebuild something. And but I'm kind of a girl like some of the things in the '60s with a little more of the muscle car era. Personally,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's what I really like. But it doesn't mean that you can't appreciate it. I've done car shows in the past, different life, and it was always fun to see the different models of cars and people bringing them, to show quality. These are people that are doing a full resto and, taking it down
Oh,
to the
yeah.
frame and, polishing it, making everything shiny. But I think what you're doing is actually really unique. It's just a fun project for yourself. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I would love to find an old Willis wagon. So
Mm.
I've found a couple in the boneyard recently that I know
Uh-oh.
where I can get parts now.
You
But
didn't
I'd
tell
love
the CFO that, did you?
no. Well, she maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, she doesn't know yet.
But I'd love to find one that's. I primarily look for vehicles out west
Okay.
because there's nothing here that's been on the road for any amount of time that isn't just rot.
Well, I was just going to say we don't have that's dry out here. So
Right.
I understand you can find stuff that doesn't have rust. There's no salt usually, right?
Hmm.
So there's no issues. Wow.
Yeah.
So you said you found two?
Well, I found two for parts.
Okay.
So now I need to try to find the roller, if you will,
I see.
the vehicle that I can buy and maybe drive back. And so it's ideally it'd be nice to find one somewhere around California, like that maybe at the start of Route 66,
Yeah.
and get
Ooh,
it
and then drive
back
it back on Route 66?
and get it back. I know where I can get a bunch of parts once it's back here.
Yeah.
So that's and I love those old Willis wagons.
Well, you never
With that
know.
point front end.
You never know who's listening. They might know somebody who knows somebody. So that's how you network, by the way.
Yeah,
You just put it
absolutely.
out there in the universe and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, there was a guy I know on a show that was looking for this." Yeah. So you never know.
And then I'm forbidden to ever get on here again from the CFO.
She's going to go like, "You can't talk about other cars anymore. That's not fair. You're going to get too many offers for different cars." So, all right. So your CFO, which is your wife, by the way,
Correct.
how long you guys been married?
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
35?
I'm
35
sorry.
years?
Now she's really going to get mad at you if she listens to the show. Oh, that's really good.
1988 till today.
And have you always been in Missouri?
Yep, grown up and raised all right here. Yeah, all the families here, everything.
And she was from here as well, from Missouri?
Yep. She grew
Wow.
up in downtown St. Louis.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's most people tend to move a lot. When you see where they grew up and then they've moved out of that area, it's nice to know that you're in that same area that you grew up in, and it's just cool. And then you get to meet your wife there too. That's pretty cool.
Right.
All right. So when you are not Jeeping or off-roading and you're not welding or building YouTube videos, what is your favorite hobby? Do you have a hobby on the side that you like to do for spare
Well,
time?
yeah, those are pretty much my hobbies, right?
I was just going to say, I know, but
Yeah.
you got to ask. Throw the ball for Duke once in a while.
Yep. No, that's all part of it. That's if I'm not working or traveling for work, those are the things that I do.
Yeah. And you do travel a lot for work. Do you want to share what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a tooling engineer. So basically, for a medical device company, if you look at anything plastic, that's pretty much what I do. So any of the tooling that needs built, have it built, get it running, and make sure that there's no issues at the molders. So I get all over the country and sometimes all over the world doing that.
Yeah, you've actually traveled outside of the country.
Yep. Yeah. This year I've been to Germany and been to France a couple times. And this has been a light travel year. So.
Well, that's either good or bad, but your molds, do you actually design and create the mold, or are you helping once the mold is built, then you're actually making sure it works and functions as it's supposed to?
So I've done all aspects of that. So
Okay.
I started in this trade as the person cutting the chips, making the molds.
Okay.
That led me into the design and the creation. And, you know, now that I'm older, it's pretty much, now that I know all the aspects of it, is in the management of all that stuff.
Which is nice. That's
Yeah.
something that you've earned along the way. And your love of machining seems like a
Well,
perfect fit for you to be doing the tooling.
yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, you can call BS when someone's giving you a line because you've been through it all.
Yeah. You're like, I
So,
already know that. All right. So outside of this country, what would be your favorite country that you've been to or place that you've been that you like?
so I really like Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of my people, if you will. I like the country, like the food, the people are great. And yeah, I think overall, I would like to see maybe more. I've never been to Switzerland, and but for the most part, Germany. I've been to northern, I've been to southern, and it's a beautiful area. If you've never
Wow.
been to the Black Forest, you really need to go.
And I know they do wheeling over there too, don't they? They're off-roading.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've
Have
never
you ever
got
been
to.
able to connect with somebody and ride with them?
No, but so far all my trips over there have been pretty booked up with work.
Yeah.
So I never got to connect with anybody and do any wheeling, but maybe one day.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I know there are Facebook pages for everything. It'd be fun if you knew you were going to be in a certain city that you knew there was wheeling offered in that area to just go to that Facebook page for that city or that town and
Right.
just say, hey, is there any off-road groups or something like that that I can connect with? I'm going to be in town this week and I'd love to ride with somebody. Is there a trail ride going or something like that? You just never know. I
No,
mean,
you
that
don't.
happens all the time in Big Bear. We have a Big Bear Facebook page and people are always, you know, hey, we're going to come up or what's the best trail or this is what my setup is. And so, you know, there's always that opportunity, but how fun that would be to,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, wheel
Absolutely.
in a different country. So be interesting to see what vehicles they use too. You know, is it going to be a Jeep or is the Jeep set up and built differently than what we know? Or is it a different off-road vehicle completely?
Yeah, so I didn't see many Jeeps when I was in Germany. I actually seen more Jeeps in France of all things.
Hmm.
But I'm sure they're there.
Yeah. Now, does your CFO, we don't want to call her the wife, does she get to go on any of these business trips with you?
Not yet. She's been to one or two with me. She went with me once up to Niagara Falls.
I
I had
love
to do
that
some
area.
training in that area, so obviously I got to pay for her to go up there, but
Right.
paid paid we scheduled a training, so it ended on Friday. Spent the weekend up there at Niagara Falls, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, every now and then she will, but
Well, it's hard too. Like for my trade show that I do in Las Vegas, my husband would be pretty much sitting in a hotel room the whole time because
right,
the trade show itself, I'm there at, 6:30 or 7 in the morning. I might get back to the room by 9 o'clock. It's just because the way the day goes and it's just such a long day. And there's not much for him to do for us during the trade show. So there is no downtime, if you will, to go, quote, see Vegas. So I understand that work sometimes gives you a big demand and then you don't have time. So why would she just go to sit in a hotel room? But
right,
some cities I think she's probably like, I want to go see that, and then she could
absolutely,
go be the tourist while you're working. But then that's not fun because you guys aren't sharing it. So, but
yeah. I had asked her if she ever wanted to go to you know offshore with me, but she's like, I ain't sitting in that plane for that long.
that's true. It is a long flight, isn't it?
Oh,
Plus changing planes.
changing planes, you burn up literally a whole day, 24 hours of just travel time,
Now, do you get
flights, and
jet
everything.
lag or are you pretty immune to that?
So when you go to Europe, that's the one that gets you, because even if typically when you leave, you typically will start to travel fairly early in the day,
Okay.
and by the time you get there, you're going to get there in the morning the next day.
Oh, okay.
There's
Ooh,
a day that just disappears in
it's
there.
gone.
So if you go to sleep, you're going to sleep during the day,
Got it.
which that ain't going to work.
Right.
So
That's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I don't think about that because I've not traveled. Well, I've been to Mexico but I've not traveled outside of the country other than that. Interesting. Didn't think about that. So now you have a second Jeep, a newer Jeep, right? So what
well,
do you have?
it's just the 18. It's just the 2018, the only one that I have.
Oh, I thought you had two Jeeps.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's just the one. I've got a 70 Dodge. I've got
Hmm.
the Jeep, and I got two
Okay.
Mercuries. So yeah, no, a second. You're gonna get me in trouble talking about my second Jeep now.
Listen, I didn't mean to do that. I'm not putting it in the universe. For some reason, I thought two Jeeps, but I think I'm thinking about your cars that you have too. So
Yeah.
it's all cool. So, well, what would be something that you would want to say to the listeners to motivate them to get out and wheel? Do you have something you want to pass along, tidbit of knowledge or something that you want to pass?
Yeah, I would say if more than anything, don't be afraid of the unknown.
Mm,
And for the most part, the Jeeping community is very friendly. You don't have to go crazy out there, but you need to get out and go see things because, and I'm just speaking, for myself, you've only got so many days on this planet. You don't know when that last day is going to be.
mhm.
So don't wait to keep wanting to go do things and never get there because, I've always wanted to get out in the middle of nowhere. And then, middle late 60s or middle late 50s is when I really started getting out there in the Jeep. So if I'm going to pass on anything, it's going to be don't keep putting it off. You don't have to be even the one with the Jeep. Get connected to somebody with a Jeep, and you can be the passenger just as easy.
Yeah. And we talk about that too a lot, especially in my segment of Newbie Nuggets, that you can be a passenger for a number of years. And when you're
Absolutely.
ready to step out, you can do that. And you can be a good spotter, you can be a good photographer. There's all kinds of things you can do as a passenger. And people love to take people out. So we've done that a lot too, where we just say, look, if you can't make it or you don't have a Jeep, come with us and we'll show you. That
Right.
could be family, that could be friends, it could be somebody you just meet. We had that on a trail run we were doing, and one of the guys stopped and he was like, well, what are you guys doing? And I have a brand new Jeep. And it was completely stock. And it was like, you can come with us, but you can't do the trails with us because we
Yeah.
knew that he couldn't, he wasn't set up for that. And he's like, well, can I ride with somebody? And I'm like, yeah, come on. So you make friends and connections that way. But I think too, finding runs, if you're interested in doing off road, is sort of searching the Facebook. It seems to be a lot of Jeep groups now are not true clubs anymore, where you have to go to meetings every month and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like join a Facebook group. They'll tell you when a run's going to happen, and then you decide to go or not go. So, but
Yeah.
that's very good advice. Is definitely get out there, experience it, go see what this country has, no matter what part of the country you're in. If you're hearing
Mhm.
this, there are trails and there are people going out. So, go have some fun. So,
Yeah, I would say if it's anything that starts out with I've always wanted to, well, do it because once
yeah.
again, you only get so many days on this earth. And if they end with everything being, I wish I always, no one's ever
Yeah.
going to say, man, I'm so glad that I worked all those extra hours and never left work.
It's so
Ain't,
true.
ain't no
Yeah.
one going to end up like that.
Isn't that called a woulda, shoulda, coulda?
Exactly.
That's kind of what the motto is. Yeah, it's so true. My dad, just as an example, has about 725,000 miles on Harley Davidson throughout this
Wow.
country. So we started, riding with him about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Maybe it's six. I have to think about that. So we probably logged about 50,000 miles with my dad. And he's, now 80, and he has decided that he needs to stop. He's like, hey, I got all these miles. I haven't had any close calls. I think it's time. He's been on three wheels now for about 2 years. And I applaud him for doing that. But the biggest takeaway I got from that was that I am so thankful that I said yes to every one of those trips,
Absolutely.
because I've been a workaholic my whole life. So I normally would say, no, I can't be gone for 9 days from the job, or no, I can't be gone for 21 days from the job. I mean, it's tough to do. You're still working when you're on the road. You're still trying to maintain things. But I am so grateful and thankful that I got to see so much of this country on the back of the bike, with memories, with photos, and sharing it with my dad and my husband. And I will always be saying from now on, you know what? The job's still going to be there. Spend the time, get out, go do it, have some fun. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
love that
typically
advice.
even after you retire, that job is still going to be there being done by somebody else, but those memories are always going to be yours.
Well, and I think we do that too much. And, it is tough. The economy's tough right now. Things are bad. People are working 2 and 3 jobs. It's hard to envision taking time to go do something. But just as simple
Absolutely.
as getting out for one day, riding with somebody who has a Jeep. If you've got a buddy who has a Jeep and you're looking at him and you're like, you know what? Can I go with you sometime? Yeah, they're going to say yes. Go see and go have fun and look at the buttes and see the trees. And like you said in Ouray, oh my gosh, in Colorado, stunning stuff,
yeah.
Moab. And you don't have to be, like you said, you don't have to own your Jeep. You can do that. So I think that's really good advice. And hopefully our listeners will take that to heart and get out there and do that. So
fly in and rent one.
Well, and then there's that. We have that here in Big Bear, by the way. You can actually drive their Jeeps. They give you a tour and you can drive their Jeeps. It's pretty cool. That kind of gets you hooked, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
It's a gateway.
It's a gateway. It's like a gateway drug.
Pretty much.
And by the way, if you buy stock, it's a gateway as well, because you will want to add a few things as time goes on. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. So cool. Well, do you have anything else you want to share with the listeners? You want to part something else or talk about anything? Let us know.
I'll just say that, we're always doing different stuff on our channel, JeepingMo, or the old car one is Rust and Dent Garage.
I love that.
So, if you've got an area that you want to go see, Duke and I have been all over this country. So if you go out to YouTube channel JeepingMo, there's a ton of wheeling videos on there. If there's any components or fabrication or anything on there,
that's good.
I think there's probably around 400 videos out there.
Wow.
But parts and, if you got a JL or JT, we've got an 18 JL, but the fabrication transfers to all of it. Go out and take a look at the channel. If you enjoy old cars, check out the Rust and Dent Garage. And, if there's anything you want to see or do, reach out through the channel, or you can even reach out through here, and always more than willing to help. And for me, we're not a million sub channel, but for me, it's we have a million sub worth of quality people who are always interacting and asking questions. And, from that standpoint, the channels are gold because of the people who interact with me through the channel.
Well, and I think that's a very good point you bring up too. There's a lot of video on YouTube, and I talk about this too on the Jeep Talk Show on our regular segment, that you can get some really bad advice.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you got to learn it the hard way. But what I love about your channel, Larry, is that you are giving good content, and it's quality content, and you can believe the content and you can try it. And I do love the interaction, because if you have a question, I had questions for you. You were just so generous to help guide me, being a complete newbie, on how to even put 2 pieces of metal together and weld them. So I would encourage listeners to check it out. It's JeepingMo. It's JeepingMo, and the other one is Rust and Dent.
Rust and Dent Garage, and my name is not Mo.
And who knows? Check it out, JeepingMo. You actually can see pictures of Duke. We gotta have Duke in there.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we got to have Duke in there. So cool. Well, listen, that's it for the episode of Chic Chat. Larry, thank you so much for coming on. I know that like I said, we see each other every week and we talk, but we don't get to get into depth of what's happening. I love what you've been doing and things. So hopefully you guys you were inspired by the stories and insights, tips shared today. Again, it is our place, Chic Chat. If you've got somebody in mind that you want us to talk about, we do, an episode every Monday. Check it out at jeeptalkshow.com/contact. Let us know what's going on. There's no limits to what you guys can achieve when you embrace your passion and chase those dreams. Get out there and do it. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the Jeep Talk Show. That way you won't miss an episode. Everything's going to be really cool. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you, Larry. You guys
Thanks
take
for
care.
having me.
Broadcasting since 2010.
That was fun, Larry. That was fun.
That was fun.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.